Listen.
Get nerdy with me. Tell me what game that you get on. Is it card or
Welcome to Talk Nerdy. I'm Troy Stegner.
I'm Patrick Potter with Manadlorian Mercs.
And today we're going to be very heavy into Star Wars.
As you can tell.
Yeah. By heavy, I mean completely. The whole episode.
Yeah. I'm kind of the slightly Jack's replacement for this episode because we are part of the Manadlorian Mercs, 501st, Rebel Legion, R2 Builder Club, so on and so forth. So.
Got a little bit of a pedigree.
Yeah, a little bit of pedigree. Not much, but you know.
More than the guy off the street.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking about that, the movie Force Awakens.
It's been about 1 week now.
Yeah.
It's been about a week since it's been open. Big spoilers. We're going to be talking a lot about it. We're not going to hold back. We're not going to be like, oh, it might have happened to this person. No, we're going to name people. We're going to name events. So if you haven't seen it, pause, go watch it, come back, finish it up, comment below, see what you thought about it. But, you know, let's start out with storyline. 30 years later, Kylo Ren, Knights of Ren, is the new arch-villain. Han Solo, Chewbacca, they come back. So it's literally almost a real-time adaptation, almost from the last episode 6. So 30 years after it happened, they pick it right back up. And which I like because they brought in most of all the characters.
Lots of cameos.
Lots of cameos. Lots of original characters.
Lots of shout-backs to the originals.
The original back, yeah. So I mean, I believe it was incredible. I like the storyline. A lot of people were saying it's pretty much a remake from the first one.
That's okay because I like the first one.
Yeah. So as long as it wasn't a remake of the prequels, I think we
I think pretty much anything without Jar Jar we'd be okay with.
You know, but now we have BB-8. He's the new droid. R2-D2 makes a slight cameo at the end, but BB-8 droid is now the main droid, which I dig because you can actually see him on one part of the movie is actually going downstairs, which rolling downstairs, and which was everybody's like, I guess there's no stairs or steps in the Star Wars universe for all the astromechs. But I dug the storyline. Like I said, new people, John Boyega as Finn, or FN2187.
Yeah, which is a throwback to the first one also.
Yeah, for the cell that Princess Leia was in, which is actually that I read up, it was a movie 21-87 that George Lucas liked, so very continuance, very, very interesting. Like I said, storyline. Again, another villain that's battling from light to darkness. This is him right here, Kylo Ren. You know, actually his pre-production was Kybo, but they changed it to Kylo. I think that was a good choice.
I like them both.
Yeah. So yeah, let's talk about Kylo Ren. Kylo Ren. Sorry. Yeah. I'm sorry. Rey is the main character. Kylo Ren is the main villain. He's almost like an adolescent going through his training with Emperor Snoke. It would call him Emperor or just Master.
I think they just call. I think just Emperor.
I think just called Snoke.
Master,
Master Snoke.
Not quite in control of his emotions yet.
Exactly. Big spoiler. Right now, Kylo Ren is Han Solo's son. Han Solo and Leia's son.
Right.
So
Ben Solo.
Ben Solo is his actual name. Now, when he's looking down, now if you've seen the trailer at least, you're looking down as a demangled Darth Vader, and pretty much he's going to finish what he started, which is it's going to be pretty interesting coming up to the next one. But on this one, it's a lot of backstory on who Finn is, which is FN2187, and who Rey is. I guess both of them were taken very small children.
Well, Rey was abandoned.
Abandoned, yeah, or maybe sold.
Could be.
Could be sold. You know, you never know, because the guy who another cameo played one of the main characters in the beginning that offered the rations. Looks like he was holding her in the flashback scene.
Yeah.
So they might have been sold, or they might have been like
servitude.
Yeah. Or they said, "Hey, I need you to look after her for the rest of her life," because there might be a lot of fan theories out there. It might be Luke's daughter, and if you're expecting Luke Skywalker in this movie, you'd be highly disappointed. He has a fast forward to the very end, 30 seconds of maybe him not even saying a word. No speaking roles or nothing. And Han Solo. If you love Han Solo and you think Star Wars is all nothing but Han Solo, you're gonna be quite disappointed to learn that Mr. Kylo Ren, his father, kills him. So spoiler. He dies.
If Han's in the next one is
it's going to be a flashback. He's going to be his blue ghost with all the rest of them, which is funny because he's not a Jedi.
Not a Force aware.
He's not a Force aware. Yeah.
Speaking of Finn, though, because in the last one we had the clone troopers.
Yeah.
They're no longer using clone troopers.
They're no longer using clone troopers.
Which is how we got Finn.
Yeah. Because now they're all going to these are all people roughly around mid-20s, late 20s. So and it's good. And their actual age, like their actor age, but they're also playing, the same amount of age. So that's about right. Is like as soon as Clone Wars, as soon as all that was done after the last one, then they maybe switched instead of doing the clones to regular.
Probably more cost efficient. Empire's all about saving money.
Yeah, and then it's all First Order now.
It is now. Yeah, there's no Sith.
No Sith.
No Empire.
No Empire, yeah.
It's all First Order and Knights of Ren.
Knights of Ren, yeah.
Where his last name came from.
And so I think, and then at the end, of course, like I said, a lot of storyline, a lot of stuff they're trying to cram into a little over 2-hour movie. I thought it was awesome, to be honest. A lot of here and there, but a lot of people didn't care for too much. But most people did. I mean, it broke. I just read this morning on all the records it broke.
Yeah, and it's closing in on Avatar and Titanic.
Yeah, it was a opening weekend, 258 million opening weekend, which beat out Jurassic World. Mm-hmm. And they said Spider-Man. I mean, it was insane. I mean, I personally saw it like 3 times myself, but I'm a little biased on what I do. But what was your take on it? What did you think about it?
Initially when I walked out, I was kind of blah about it. But the more the farther away from watching the movie and the more people I talked to, the more things I realized I kind of saw, but it didn't register.
Didn't register.
So yeah, the more the more I talk about it, the more I like the movie.
Well, the first time I watched it, I said, I'm going to watch it, I'm going to have fun watching it. The second time, I am going to look for everything around me. And then the third time is I'm going to nitpick it. I want to see costumes, I want to see what these people look like, I want to see who's in it. And talking about who's in it, a lot of cameos from cross nerdiness. You have...
you mentioned Simon Pegg.
Simon Pegg, he was that's a big cameo. That was the guy who was giving out those portion the rations. He played I don't remember his name, but it's
like a space pond.
Yeah, pretty much. Or everybody's version of the GameStop. I will give you a quarter ration for your PS4.
Yeah.
I saw that meme this morning and I thought it was hilarious. But no, I mean, he played him because Simon Pegg, huge Star Wars fan. I think we were talking about a movie he was in, both Paul, a lot of Star Wars references in Paul.
Oh, plenty.
Horrible movie, but just as I'm a Simon Pegg fan, so from Shaun of the Dead and everything.
You do no wrong in my eyes.
But another good, awesome cameo, 007. Daniel Craig himself. So if you actually listen to it when Rey was in her contraption and she tells the stormtrooper, "Hey, release me of my restraints," and the guy's like, "What?" and he goes over there, is I'll tighten those restraints, scavenger scum. That was Daniel Craig. So he was actually shooting Spectre at the same time and the same location, and I think he just called JJ and says, "Hey, let me do a non-face character." I think that was really cool. But a lot of TV show characters. You have Game of Thrones.
The main one, Gwendolyn Christie.
Gwendolyn Christie, Captain Phasma, which, if you if you thought she was gonna be like this badass main character is gonna no, she had probably a couple speaking roles, and then she gets tackled.
Couple minutes of airtime.
Couple minutes, and like how easily, I mean, for being a captain, how easily she just lowered the shields. It's like, you'll never get away with this. Like, looks like they already did.
Somehow. We don't know what they did to her. But yeah. I mean,
like another ode to the first one, trash compactor.
Yeah, they looked for a garbage chute with a trash compactor.
Yeah, and then of course Finn is not actually, he's actually in sanitation. So
that was his first job. Yeah,
that was his first job, and then I guess he went to darker, but he's like, there's a trash compactor. So, but after that, we just didn't hear from her. Let's see here. The one of the kids from Game of Thrones, he was one of the Imperial officers. Let's see, from Lost fame, Admiral Statura.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Oh, well, from Heroes fame.
Greg Grunberg.
Yeah, and his it's Wexley. He's actually a TIE fighter. I guess they're calling him the Porkins of Episode 7. He's not a skinny. Yeah, well, yeah. Actually, I'm gonna just call him a regular human being instead of like six-pack guy. But everybody's like, oh my god, a guy I can actually cosplay as without losing tons of weight and getting 4 more inches on my height. But yeah, a lot of Easter eggs, cameos. JJ, and of course, JJ Abrams and Grunberg, they're almost like best friends. So of course he was going to put them in there. So I think
they should have shown Grunberg getting into the X-wing.
Yes, exactly. It might be a tight fit. I don't think those things are really
built like sports cars. Yeah.
I looked at it's like me going into like an F-16. I looked at it, it's like, yep, I'm not fitting in that. But no, it was very interesting. All in all, like a lot of Easter eggs, a lot of cameos. Let's see here. What do you think about Maz's like Pirates Cove? A lot of characters in that. That's almost like this versions of
not just
Cantina.
Characters, but as you're walking in, all the different flags.
Yeah, a lot of the different flags at Maz's castle.
That Blu-ray's gonna get paused a lot.
That Blu-ray's gonna get paused a lot. I mean, you have, of course, the Manadlorian, the Mythosaur skull. You have Boba Fett's family crest. You have the Hutt's family crest. Sebulba's a lot of pod racers flags, and an action ode to 501st. Again, 501st. It's called Vader's Fist costuming group for Star Wars. They actually gave an ode, so it came back around to 501st. And if you excuse us 1 second, we're gonna go ahead and turn the light back on.
And there's a cut point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Blooper reel.
Blooper reel.
I forgot to tell you, the lights are on time.
Yeah, the lights are on motion sensor up front, and if there's no motion up front, they go off.
We have to have Anna dance up her next time. Okay, the flags.
Yeah, so the flags, like I said, 501st flag was in there. 501st has over 60,000 members right now worldwide. Huge membership. Everybody dresses up as their favorite characters. This is a TX Shadow Trooper, Kylo Ren. They're actually using, this is the Hasbro voice changing Black Series. They're actually using this as a base because it's actually chrome, and they're redoing it, they're filling it in. This is Manadlorian Mercs and the 501st Imperial Guard, which I unfortunately, it fell on the ground
Ignore the crack.
Ignore the crack. It's a great piece. Kretschmer Creative did the piece. It's amazing. Just don't be an idiot like me and let it fall on the floor. But no, I mean, tons of flags, tons of characters. Like I said, the Blu-ray is going to come out in April, May. I think there's going to be a lot more characters. Just the amount of pure practical effects that was put in there. The Guavian Death Gang, where it looks like these guys, but it's like
The
has the zero helmets, which some of my friends already figured out how they did. I believe, let's see here, but I think BB-8's going to be the new R2, which is going to be, because he is actually a practical effect. He's actually, I'm part of the Astromech Builders Club, and they actually made him to be practical. You can actually roll him around with like an R2 unit or like an RC cart.
I'd like to see him interact those two droids a lot.
Yeah,
because you don't know what they're saying.
Yeah, exactly.
But you still kind of get what the emotion they're trying to convey.
And actually, a fun fact about the voice of BB-8,
right?
Bill Hader. Bill Hader, and another one was credited for the voice of BB-8, which I thought was hilarious. You could just do whistles and beeps, and they're like, "Oh, there we go, BB-8, Bill Hader," and I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah, but. Other than that, I dug it. Like I said, Node, Princess Leia's daughter, General Leia, but her actual Carrie Fisher's daughter was in there.
Yes, she was.
And I'm looking down here, so if you see me looking down, there's so much.
There's so many cameras. They haven't even released a lot of the.
Exactly. And I'm sorry, Ben Schwartz is the other name for the voice of BB-8.
Speaking of the voices, and the flashback scene when Rey grabs the lightsaber.
Yeah, I mean you have an original Frank Oz's Yoda.
Yeah, Frank Oz.
You have the original Obies.
The Obies.
The Obies were in it.
So Alec Guinness and Ewan
McGregor himself. Yeah. There's so much. There's so much information, and like I said, the first time you watch it, just enjoy it, because you're not going to try to figure this out on watching it one time. You're gonna have to watch it a couple times.
Yeah, there's a lot of subtle,
very things subtle
added to it.
Yeah, I mean, so like the big main, I guess, height of it when Mr. Solo, which I love.
Mr. Solo.
No, or
Honor Ben.
I love the part when Ben says, "Solo, did you call me Solo?" That was great. Yeah, Mr. Big Deal. When he dies. So let's talk about Starkiller Base. Starkiller Base is humongous.
Perfectly named.
Perfectly named because that's what it does. It actually sucks up the energy from a star, from a sun, and then uses it to blow up planets.
Right.
So the first time they used it in film, they blew up 4 or 5 planets at once.
It was
Yeah. A lot of power, and
much bigger than the Death Stars.
Yeah. Then they'll actually scale it for you when they.
It's actually a planet almost.
Yeah. What they did is they took a planet and they converted it from a planet to actually a weapon. And what they do is they suck off all the sun's energy until it becomes no more, and then they expel that energy. Now,
thus killing the star.
Thus killing the star and Starkiller Base. Now going back to what I was saying, when Mr. Solo and the Solos, so Kylo Ren and Han Solo, so Han Solo kind of wanted to get his son back. So very traumatic experience, I guess, for a very, if you loved all the Star Wars and then you see Han Solo get killed by his son. Now, Kylo Ren is struggling from light to good, light to dark.
Right.
So you'll see that a lot. It says I'm struggling with the light coming towards me, and now.
Well, he was Luke's apprentice.
Luke's apprentice, which
but his grandfather.
Yeah.
Was Darth.
Yeah. So I mean. Yeah, it's
a little torn.
Like I said, it's a family. It's like Thanksgiving.
Dysfunctional
family to the T. You have some. I mean, it's like your son goes goth or something like that, right? He just goes emo. I think, to be honest, when they almost had a literal representation of the sun diminishing to nothing, and then as soon as there was no more sun, that's pretty much almost like the literal translation of what Kylo Ren went through when he killed Han Solo,
With all the light being extinguished from him and the star.
And the star at the same time. I thought that was a good little representation. Not as bad as like The Departed at the end when the rat moves over. It's like, okay, yeah, we get it. But no, this one was a good correlation between the two. Of course, at the end, Rey figures out. So after he kills, the whole thing goes on. I don't want to spoil the entire movie. Go watch it, but if you're watching this, you should have watched it already. I guess Rey is Force aware. Now, very much Force aware, and she found that out during Starkiller Base. Now, here's the thing. I guess a lot of people were giving Energizer, that commercial, some shit.
Really?
Yeah, because the Energizer commercial before the movie came out shows a little kid that's dressed up as Rey being Force aware. And nobody knew it. Yeah. It kind of ruined it for a lot of people because they were like, but then everybody's like, well, you can't look at that, and then they're just kids. Like,
You kind of figured it out pretty early on
that you kind of figured out that
she's flying the Millennium Falcon like she's owned it forever.
Yeah, exactly. So I think at the end when he gets all, you don't know if he loses an arm, but his face is all scarred up.
With Star Wars, you have to have somebody lose a hand.
There's some body part has got to be, especially with lightsabers, they got to be just.
They love cutting off hands in Star Wars.
But everybody was giving crap to Kylo Ren's lightsaber beforehand, and they don't say that anymore. As soon as you figure out what kind of a deadly, or not deadly, but just a painful shoulder energy Finn got fighting him. I think we were also talking to about how Rey, as you can know, defeated Kylo. I mean, she was using the Force, but here's the thing. I think Kylo Ren, like I said, he's still going through training. And like I said, Luke Skywalker was never really good with a lightsaber either, but...
Well, not every Jedi is great with a lightsaber.
Like, Yoda was one of the best ones, but, I think he's still in training. That's why I don't think he was... I mean, especially when he goes through his tantrums and he just flails it all over the place. He doesn't have control over himself.
But being strong in the Force doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be an expert swordsman.
Yeah, expert swordsman. And like I said, and I think we were talking about this too, Luke Skywalker, he must have... So Kylo Ren in this movie is probably, what, in his late 20s? Yeah, roughly around that. And so, roughly, if that happened as soon as the last movie happened, I mean, you're talking about Luke Skywalker literally took on a Padawan with 6-7 years of being a Jedi.
But who trained Luke?
Yeah, but who trained Luke?
Yoda was there for a short time.
Yeah.
Died. Ben died way early.
And then Ben wasn't... The only thing Ben pretty much did was...
give him that little training...
The training module thing up there, which is funny. There's an ode to that. If you'll see it pinned in his hands. And then, of course, the chest thing. But we don't think that... he was well trained, and then maybe that's why he was seduced by the dark side, is because you have somebody that wasn't well trained, that training somebody else that's not really well trained, and hence why I think that's why he wasn't really good with the lightsaber, because I mean, if somebody like even Finn was yeah, I mean, he was holding his own. I mean, he kind of sucked at the end.
These aren't your father's stormtroopers.
No, and the funny thing is the correlation from Episode 1, where there was a master swordsman or lightsaber wieldsman, to last episode where they're just like, there are a couple kids in the background with a couple sticks hitting each other. It wasn't
flailing.
I think that's going down because there's no teachers to teach the correct way. So I think but that's just a theory that we were coming up with. I think that's a good theory because it seems right. Because
supposedly Luke's the last known
Jedi, unless you read the
extended universe.
The extended universe, but all in all, I dug the movie. There's a lot of things to talk about. And only one more year till Rogue One, 1.5 years, 2 years to Episode 8, and then 2.5 to 3 years to the Han Solo
backstory.
The backstory for Han Solo. I think, like I said, we're going to have a Star Wars movie every year, so if you don't like Star Wars, I'm sorry. It's here. You're not going to get rid of it because
Disney will make sure of that.
Disney will make sure that money talks, especially with Han Solo's last appearance, and that's why he's, Harrison Ford was. I don't think Harrison Ford wanted to do this movie, but the check they give him for this movie, what did they say, $50 million?
Yes.
For roughly around,
and I'm sure he gets some kind of cut off the back end too.
Oh yeah, his residuals are going to be insane. Just for the last, for 20 minutes, $50 million. It's not bad.
Approximately, but he was a big part of the movie.
He was a big part of the movie, and I think that because they want to put a new generation, that kind of sealed the deal. The old generation's kind of going out, the new generation's coming, and I dug
Chewie
it.
and Rey, what do you think about?
Yeah, here's the thing. Everybody was expecting Chewie to die. Now, Peter Mayhew, who plays Chewie, he had a double knee replacement now. Everybody thinks Peter Mayhew is Chewbacca. Well, Chewbacca's Chewbacca, and anybody that kind of fits in his thing should be
Pretty
Chewbacca.
easy to disguise a tall person.
Yeah, I mean, you could go to any Slavic nation and pick up a couple white basketball players or be black, it doesn't matter. And anybody is 7'2" and should fill his roles. But everybody was kind of saying, "Oh, Peter Mayhew might die in this one, or Chewbacca might die." Not Peter Mayhew. Peter, I love you. I met you a couple times. You're not gonna die. But I think that's the correlation. It's like you have to figure out. Well, Chewbacca now is the co-pilot, which they really didn't say anything, and I think that's the only reason that they didn't say anything is because, like at the end, we were talking about that yesterday. The only people that really know who Han Solo is Leia, of course.
Old rebellion people.
Old rebellion people, which we didn't see much of, and then Chewbacca. And Chewbacca, he lost it. Yeah. Which is funny because they've been together for so long, and I still don't buy that Han's never shot
the bowcaster.
The bowcaster. I don't buy that for one bit. That or he's maybe he's losing it in his old age.
Are you going to take the Wookiee's gun from him?
Yeah, that is true. But I just don't. I don't know. I think that it was to put Chewie now as a co-pilot for Rey, because now all of a sudden Rey just grabbed the Millennium Falcon out of nowhere. It's hers now.
Chewie didn't even lay claim to it.
Yeah,
he was
like,
all right,
whatever. I'll be a co-pilot the rest of my life.
This is my seat. That was kind of strange.
Yeah, that was a little awkward. And then at the end, Chewie just strolled by Leia like nothing. I think he was just very upset, and it's hard to.
Expect Chewie to at least put like a little picture of Han.
I know, right? Grab a little bobblehead and just. But I think all in all, it was a good closure on a person that kind of probably didn't want to be with the Star Wars universe anymore, and a good new beginning of Daisy Ridley and John Boyega, which I think there's gonna be a love story in probably episode 8. They looked like they were because he was very fond of her and getting her back, which that'll probably be a whole nother thing in itself. But yeah, I mean, like I said. So other than that, I dug it.
Yeah, it was very enjoyable.
Very enjoyable.
For all the cameos alone.
Yeah.
Even if you don't like the movie, there's so many cameos.
There's so many cameos.
Except for Lando.
Yeah, Lando didn't make an appearance.
Why was there no Lando, JJ?
Hello, what have we here?
Like I said, again, my name is Patrick with the Manadlorian Mercs. We actually seen that together. They were again a guest of ours for the opening night, and we took the Big Brothers Big Sisters, about 50 people with the Big Brothers Big Sisters. We gave them free tickets. Cinemark was really cool. They gave us free meals, and at the end they got bags full of Star Wars toys, about $40 to $50 a piece. Big shout out to Zia Comics. Absolutely go to the comic store or their website. They give us a great discount on it so they can have more toys. Yeah, that was really appreciated. We appreciate that a lot. That was awesome. The kids, just the smiles on their face, and right after seeing the movie, now they got a whole bunch of toys, and I think they're well deserving, and hopefully, and shocker that they would put these movies out right before Christmas.
Right.
So I think that's Disney and Lucasfilm kind of collaborated with their merchandising, and it's going to go crazy. So
And the costuming club, they all have their charity that they work for.
yeah, Mandalorian Mercs, they actually have their own charities called Little Warriors International. So that was actually the big donator for the money of the toys. 501st they did with let's see here, last year they raised over $300,000-$400,000 for different kind of charities. Remember, we are a charity group that promotes other charities. So if you have a charity and you want us, just have to go to our website or something like that, and you could go to Vhe'rang.com, somewhere around here. We'll put it right there.
Either here.
Vhe'rang.com, and then you can request us, or you can request. Let's see here. It's called Dewback Rage, but 501st. Just put under Star Wars Costume Group. There's a bunch of them out there.
A lot of Google hits on that.
A lot of Google hits. Just go to the first one. It's usually the 501st. 501st, Mandalorian Mercs, Rebel Legion, R2 Builders Club. There's like subsections of subsections, but
these guys had to pay for their costumes out of their own pocket, and be certified by the respective.
It's under the CRLs. It's the
Right.
Costume Reference Library. You have to go through. Like the Mandalorian Mercs have it's a little different because Mandalorian Mercs, you'll never see this character because this is my character. So my character actually gets raised by R2D2. Right.
Hence the colors.
Hence the colors. But different characters have different CRLs, and you can go to armor parties, talk to people. We're very awesome. We're very awesome. We're very accepting of people, and if you want to do it, we'll show you how to do it. And like a lot of people, they just kits and they make them themselves. But
yeah, if you see them as the 501st, the Mandalorian Mercs, Rebel Legion, they've all been their costumes have been approved as movie accurate. So.
Yeah, so you can take any, like, if you see any stormtroopers that are with the 501st, you can literally take that stormtrooper, put it in a movie, and it'll fly because they have to be movie accurate. So yeah.
So when you see those guys, find out what charity they're working for and help them out because they're giving their time and their money to help promote those charities.
Yeah, I dig it. It's fun, and it's always fun to walk around and make a menace and make a spectacle. Yeah, but
the costumes do catch people's eyes.
Yeah, they it's an eye catcher when you see a big 8 foot tall Wookiee walking around. It's not a everyday occurrence. Well. Apparently, around here it's pretty common, but anywhere else it's not that common. But that's pretty much it for the Mandalorian Mercs. So again, I dig the movie. If you haven't watched it, what are you doing watching this? If you haven't seen it yet, do you really want to just waste the go
watch it?
Go see it in IMAX if you can afford it. Don't waste your money on 3D. It's not worth it. There's a couple, like 2 or 3 good parts in 3D, and
just see it however you can see it.
Yeah. The bigger the better. But hey, if you watch it on your iPhone in 4 months, knock yourself out.
You'll enjoy it no matter how you watch it.
Yeah. Well, cool. Like I said, my name is Patrick Potter with the Mandalorian Mercs.
Troy Stegner with Talk Nerdy to Me. This was Star Wars Force Awakens.
Force Awakens, yeah.
Spoilers.
If we say spoilers at the end, we're not doing too well.
Should have said that.
Yeah, should have said that at the beginning.
Anyway.
Oh well.
And may the Force be with you.
Take care, guys. Bye bye. Cool.
I don't know. Still running.
Still going?
Yeah.
That was weird.
Yeah, it was very weird.
Again, we are having some technical difficulties.
Lil.
It's only a third time doing it.
The other two were rehearsed.